Christmas Eve 3 times. I've made it on time. Welcome to Baitman Live here this Saturday night. I really don't have a plan of what to talk about, but there are a few things out there that's kind of frustrated me that I'm going to talk about this evening. So welcome in to the stream this Saturday night as always. And I'll get this thing shared on Facebook pretty quickly. And we'll just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. If there's some things you want me to talk about, we'll talk about them. Feel free to hit that super chat tonight for donation to the channel. Brooks is really excited about going to pick out some baits when that YouTube money gets in. I actually got a gift card for Academy for Christmas, and I think I'm going to give it to Brooks, give him $50 advance on some baits and let him go pick it out. And oh yeah, I'll definitely film it. So let me get it shared up on my Facebook page here. So hopefully everybody's been doing good. If you had a good Christmas, hit that thumbs up button for me. Hit it anyways, and be sure to leave a comment after the video. We'll have some fun tonight. I'm going to do a New Year's Eve stream. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know if I should do like a stream challenge, do like a 4-hour live stream and just talk baits and fishing and whatever. Maybe have a couple of Milliken hot toddies and see where we go with that. Alright, I think I got this posted up here. Alright, I got it posted up on Facebook, I think. And now let me pop out this chat here and get my stream set up here. Alright. Yes, I know some guys are going to watch a college football playoff. Just to let you know that I will be rooting for Clemson tonight. So if my orange team can't win, I'm going to root for this next one. What's up, Brian Crawford? Merry Christmas to you, brother. Actually ran into a buddy of yours named Bob Austin over there at the tax service near my parents' house. I've been using him. He's a really nice guy, and he knew who you were, Brian. But yes, college football playoff is going on tonight. You know, I hate to take away the thousands and thousands of viewers from that, but man, I'm just going to let y'all know LSU is absolutely waxed Oklahoma. And I really didn't feel like Oklahoma should be in there, to be honest with you. It's quite overrated. And I'm going to tell you, right now, I think Tennessee goes to Norman, Oklahoma, and they give them a game, if not beat them, because these Oklahoma fans are so silly. They keep, we're going to be so good next year. Our backups and 5-star receivers that they're redshirt and they're better than our starters. Okay, then your coach is a moron if your backup quarterback and your receivers that are on the bench are better than your starters, because they're absolutely getting murdered right now. So I've never understood that why fans would always say, well, our better players are they're on the bench. Okay. Caleb Morgan says, any recommendations for a 3/4 ounce lipless crankbait? Yes. I like a 3/4 rattle trap, to be honest with you. The Thud 80, which is the bigger one, I use it every now and then. It's a really good one. Let's see. LV 500 is a really good heavy lipless crankbait. And the Booyah One Knocker or the old Excaliburs, if you can get either one of those are really good. So I like that 3/4 ounce lipless crankbait quite a bit. So, but before we get really started tonight on some little YouTube rants, because all these guys on YouTube are crying and I'm no longer with favorite rods, and it's just such bogus stuff, man. These are grown men like my age, like having to tell a life story why they're not using favorite rods, and it's just a silly sense. What size of line for jerk bait and weightless fluke? So if I'm throwing a weightless fluke, I like 14 pound. I think I get the best action out of 14 pound, and believe it or not, I'll use mono, because when I'm throwing a weightless fluke, I want it up in the water column. I want to see it. I have used fluorocarbon if I want it to sink a little bit, but I like 14, 15 pound mono I don't use anything crazy. I just use like trilene. I've got a spool up here that's like this stuff right here. This isn't my monofilament spool. This is what I use for top water, spinnerbait, stuff like that. This is some old school trilene max. And you see how high vis that is? I really like that for throwing flukes and stuff. It's got good abrasion resistance. And we are now joined by Baitman Jr. All right, get up here, Brooks. Tell everybody hi.
Hi.
So Baitman Jr. has now joined the stream. I was trying to stream by myself tonight, but I'm not going to tell him no. I do not have any experience with the deuce rods that Cajun Baby endorses. Sure, Clayton, I'll answer your question tonight, but got a quick question, Baitman. What's the best gear ratio for a bait casting reel for swim bait fishing, high or low? Personally, I like a 6:3 to 1. You can do a lot with the 6:3. You can reel a little bit faster if you want to, but it's really easy to stay at a very medium to slow retrieve, but you're not going so slow you feel like you got to speed up. So I like a 6:3. I have used a 7 quite a bit. If you get really in tune with it, those faster retrieves, you can pick up some slack better. But for a beginner, I'd go with 6:3 to 1. What all baits did Baitman Jr. get? You didn't get a lot of baits for Christmas, did you?
No, I didn't get any.
What did you get?
A lot of Nerf guns and Simons.
A lot of Nerf guns?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nerf guns are fun. Yeah, I think he's got more Nerf bullets than I got baits, which is a crazy amount. So, old school crankbaits. I don't think you talk about the Pose RC3 N1. Those are awesome, Brian. Whoa, bud. Whoa, don't be touching the phone. Baitman Jr. is about to have Siri talking on here. So, I had a Man's 30 Plus 1200 first crankbaits. I had to read that again, Brian. I wasn't sure about that last sentence. We did have a good Christmas. Everybody did. Where are you going, Baitman?
Getting a drink.
Getting a drink? Okay. You can't have Mountain Dew.
What?
What?
What'd you say?
Nothing. Yeah, RC3 from Pose was a really, really good bait. And Pose 1200, I know you probably got a ton of them, Brian, being as your Kentucky Barkley Lake guy as well. I like those Big Man's Loudmouth. Those were really good ones. The East Tennessee Fishing Show is a great show, especially if you like tackle. It's one of the better ones out there. I'm going to try to go, but I'm not sure if I'll get to. We'll just see how things go this month. I've been working a lot. Who will be the next guy to walk away from MLF in your opinion? I don't know. I think there'll be some guys after the third year, obviously, when they're cut, but it just depends, man. I think people are rooting for guys to walk away from MLF, which I think is just sad. And whatever. Do you have a recommendation for a cranking rod for 6XDs? Yeah, I got several. I like a Dobbins 805. That's a really good cranking rod for 6XDs. The 6 Sense Cloud Cranker is really good. The Daiwa Tatula Elite 8-foot crankbait rod is very good. So, besides the Dobbins 7095, what would you get for large swim baits? Ooh, Daiwa makes a 8-foot swim bait rod. A pretty good price. Let's see. What else would I throw big swim baits on? You can find any 7.6 heavy action rod that's almost like a flipping stick that would be good. You better go to bed on time when you drink this thing. Phoenix makes a really good swim bait rod. The Phoenix M1s are really well. Lew's makes some as well. Joe, there's lots of good actions or lots of good companies out there making good rods. I would look for something in the 7.6 to 7.10 range. Heavy, fast action. I don't want extra fast, but I like fast. I want it to load up a little bit. What's up, Josh Fopp? Hopefully I pronounced your last name right. Would you like to trade anything for a 6-inch Citizen in silver? I've got some. What's up, Oto? Thank you very much for the super chat donation, bud. I try to put in some work. I'm still working on that spreadsheet. This is going to be a cool video. I recorded Baitman Raw last night with Lee Livesey, and he has some awesome stuff to talk about the Bassmaster Elite Series and which I'm gonna get it, and throwing big swim baits in general. I had to really redneck it up though. We couldn't get through on Skype, so I had to hold the cell phone next to the microphone, and it actually didn't turn out that bad. So, any thoughts on I'm a hard baits? They're jerks and crank. I'm a flirt is a very good jerk bait, definitely in that underrated category. I don't throw the cranks a whole lot, except the shaker. That flat side was a really good one, and I love their top water, the little stick and big stick. That makes good stuff. Fishdale Hollow for the first time today and couldn't get bit on an A-rig or jerkbait. Any recommendations? Yes. Throw a football jig. They love a football jig at Dale Hollow. Now, me personally, I've only been once. Didn't have a great trip. Caught 2 bass, both on a football jig. But my buddies, they caught them pretty good on the A-rig. But the guys I went with, they swear by the football jig there. I would love to do a drawing for a trip to Lake X. In fact, I'm going to talk to Mr. Lake X this week and see what we can't do. If I could hit 15,000 subscribers, if we could give away a trip to Lake X. All right. I'm just going to answer a few more questions, and I got to show y'all some baits and stuff.
My tooth is loose.
Your tooth is loose? Maybe I'll tie some line to your tooth and yank it out with a fishing pole. No? Okay. That would be funny, though. All right, let's see here. I'm going to try to answer a few questions. I've never used a floating fly. Best colors for the Cloud 9 C20. Chartreuse and blue. Any shad color. The citrus. Dude, don't burp. The microphone's right there, homie. Anything chartreuse and blue. Obviously, get you a couple shad colors. I like the lavender citrus. That's a really good one as well. I really wish Darian Craig wouldn't have really done that video, but Darian's Darian, and he had to let everyone know. But that's okay, because I like it. I have heard of that Tennessee Shad Series flat side. David, I do not use the floating fly. I tried it one time, read some Bassmaster articles, not for me, but I really didn't know what I was doing. Just throw that back down. I had it down there for a reason, bud. So, but anyway, I got some swim baits in the mail. Burrito Baits decided to drop by the house the day after Christmas, and I have got me another Burrito Baits Nacho, and I'm really excited about this.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, Baitman Jr. is going to hold it.
A protector, right?
So it's got a little, comes with a hook protector, yeah, but that's a good looking. The reason I wanted this one, it's a little bit more chartreuse for a little bit dirtier water. Looks like a bluegill, but kind of got that perch color. You guys up north, y'all would really like this one right here. But my guy Gail Ratcliffe over there at Burrito Baits, or better known as Carp Pugger, makes these, and they're made out of silicone. They're really durable. And then we got another Burrito Bacchus Supreme for some deep water fishing. Brooks will hold that. And we got that clear top, white belly, just a good. See how bright that is? Get up over here. There you go. Good little old shad pattern on that. But it has that classic paddle tail.
Yeah.
And see where this is flat right here? That's where all the weight is up in here. So, but it's got the classic swim bait paddle tail, and you look, and it's just limp as can be. But really like the design on that bait. That go good with the one I got, that shad pattern. So
Wait.
I think he's dropping new baits tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. That's the best way to get burrito baits. And I would be on the website at 6:58 and just hit refresh as soon as it's 7.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Brooks. What's your question?
how like when you have a fish bait,
Yes.
the fish. How did the fish catch the fish bait? I mean,
Oh, how did the fish catch the fish? That's actually a good question. So your bait's coming through the water, Brooks, and here's the bass. Your bait's coming. He comes and goes, and he eats it. And so you set the hook, and it takes this hook and it drives it up into his mouth, and then you reel him in.
so that's the so when the bait, so when the fish sees the hook, does it bite it?
Yeah, he's biting the bait. That's how he gets hooked. You know what I mean? We take the hook protector off when we fish. But that's a good question. All right. Anyway, Sean, I do have one of the 13 fishes swim baits. It's not bad. It has a little bit too much tail spin for me, but it'd definitely work. Yeah, Woodbait Nation is a really good Facebook group as far as balsa wood crankbaits, and you better have a big wallet. I end up just looking most of the time. Does the Fritz side crankbait live up to the hype? I don't know. I haven't thrown it. I still haven't got one yet. I've been kind of lazy on buying some stuff because I've got a Santa with this guy. But I've heard some good things. Actually, heard something from somebody that isn't a Berkeley Pro staff guy that said, "Man, it's a really good bait." But the 5 and 7 are the better ones. The deeper one, not so much. But the 5 Fritz side is pretty dang good. For a production plastic flat side, I'd like to compare it to the 75X from 6 cents. But I really feel like they just made a DT flat 5 and 7. Plastic. So I can talk a little bit about the axis, but I can't really say much other than it's definitely a collaboration between a chatterbait and a crankbait, and it's very unique. And some guys have got lucky to get some prototypes in their premium Super 6 box, and I think that's the best way to get one ahead of time. And I think there's a code, Baitman Super 6, save you $10 off a Super 6 sack from 6 cents. And yeah, man, Baitman Jr. is awesome. Any good jointed swim bait recommendations other than the bull shad, 4 to 5 inch size? Yes, 316 if you can find them on the low. All the 316, the freestyle stuff is really, really good, but you're looking at $200 to $300 on some of those. Multi joints, I don't use a whole lot other than the bull shad, and that's just me being honest. Now there's a jackal bait. It's called a Gantia. I've got one. It's actually really good for like $30-40. Totally different profile. The old Fish 30 Acre stuff wasn't too bad. Block tackle. I'll be honest. I'll answer that. It's not that MTB doesn't support the channel. It's I decided to part ways with Mystery Tackle Box, and they were always good to me. So I can't say anything bad. And I'm not going to give you the ultra goober YouTuber stance on it. I just I work with 6 Cents, and MTV's parent company is Catchco. When they come out with the Guggen baits, and they kind of knocked off the flat 75, I couldn't promote anything like that, and they chose to go that route, and they said they would still work with me and everything, and that's fine. It wasn't like I was getting paid anything, and I probably didn't do the greatest job really promoting them. But I did like a lot of the stuff I got in the boxes, but I couldn't open a box and tell you guys, go fish these Guggen crankbaits, knowing the backstory behind it. So I just told them, look, thank you for giving me an opportunity. This is the way I'm going to go. I'm a really loyal guy, and
what do you mean you work?
Is what it is. So
what do you mean you work for 6 Cents? Your job is fixing windows.
Brooke says, what do I mean I work for 6 Cents? My job is fixing windows. Well, I work for 6 Cents. I put Instagram posts up and do videos. How about that? That's my side gig. Okay. You're trying to get all up in the camera tonight. So, as far as YouTube channels with fishing, who's someone that is legit to follow? Tactical Bassing, Mikey Balls, very legit. I like Bass Quest, is pretty good stuff. But Mikey Balls and Tactical Bassing, they're really good. Believe it or not, some of the pros have some really good stuff. I like watching Jacob Wheeler stuff. That's right, Josh. This is a good question. So I want to answer this. Steve Hardy says, any positive news from fishing on Kentucky Lake? I'm going to say yes. So, guy I work with, his name's Randy Stone. He's a hammer. He caught 28 pounds last week, caught almost 21 pounds this week in a tournament. There's 4 20-pound bags in the tournament south of Paris. And Matt Robertson on him. He had almost 21 pounds. So the lake is fishing really dang well right now. There is lots of good fishing going on Kentucky Lake. The smallmouth, it's unreal. They're biting really well, and it's something someone kind of told me. They predicted that Kentucky Lake would be a smallmouth dominant lake in the next couple of years. I can see that happening, man. These fish are healthy, they're fat, they're feeding. So, but we've also went like 6-7 months with no fishing pressure, and still, even though it's a winter, there's not that many boats out there. What do you got? Come here. Listen. Come here.
Yeah.
Brooks brought me a prototype. This is a Berkeley digger before they ever came out. My buddy Mike Russell at Bag 5 Baits gave it to me. And what's that, Brooks? Swim bait?
Yeah.
This is a BB kicker. This is a very underrated swim bait, by the way. He wanted me to show you those. But Kentucky Lake is fishing better. The future is good. There's a lot of smaller fish in that 13 to 14.5-inch range. So, no problem saying. I'm glad I'm not working tonight, but I got to go back tomorrow. So, the carp thing, they don't have it under control. I'm not going to lie to you. There's too many carp. There's not enough commercial fishermen. So, they're trying to regulate it, but I'm just worried because they see a way to make money that they're never going to try to really get rid of them. They're just going to try to regulate it where people can make money and stuff. But that's what's going on. Chris says, what 6 cents lipless cranks are your go-to for springtime? Well, yeah, I like Tiger Truce. It's one of my favorite. I like the Quake 70. That's my favorite lipless. Tiger Truce. Any of the red colors are really good. And then I like. I'm drawing a blank here. Shad Greens is a really good one, and now that they've got chrome, but I've got so many colors, and I'm really excited to try out some of these new ones I got back here. I moved some stuff around today, so thanks Jack Mitchell for the Baitman Junior Bait Fund. He got loaded down the other night, so we're just going to have to add that in there. Hey, open that door. It's hot in here, bud.
Okay.
Matter of fact, let's just open this box.
Yeah, and see what's in.
And see what we got.
Yeah, I can hold some.
So someone asked about 3/4 ounce lipless crankbaits. This is the Thud, so got that kind of one knocker style here, and that color is, God, I'm really drawing a blank tonight. But that's just a bright orange color and got a little purple back. I don't think the back matters, but here, let me do it.
Okay.
This is the exact bait. My profile picture on Instagram is with this bait right here. You can tell I don't like to take the knots off, but this Quake 70 Tiger Truce, this is called the Jaints for me. This bait is really good working on a burn and kill. So what I like to do is reel this kind of fast and let it fall. Reel it fast and let it fall. So, and I'll use my rod to pump it up and down as well. This is another good color. This Crackle Crawl, especially in the springtime of year. That's good. And then this one actually I caught quite a few fish on. If I can get her out of here. That's that. Oh, we got some sharp hooks. I'm good, Brooks. I think that's called bluegill spawn, man. It's a really awesome color, but I like it because it's got that orange belly. It's very subtle, but I like it. Jungle Rose, that's it, and that's a really popular color. But I'm gonna have to update this box here, or I'm gonna have to get just a dedicated Quake box. But I'm really glad they come out with this one color. If I can reach it back here.
I can reach it.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
You got it? And I showed this off the other day. This is the Rainbow Chartreuse. And why I like this is it's very similar to that Spro Little John and Spring Crawl. Man, that is gonna be dirty. Dirty. Ronald Cox, when's the last time I went fishing? Quite a while. Probably like mid-October. I've been working a lot, and man, every time I've kind of wanted to go, the weather's been terrible. Now I've been out filming with some people, but I really didn't get to fish that much. So, block tackle. Comparing the regular 1.5 KVD, they have a ton of new colors, by the way. Compare it with the crushed square bill as far as the hunting actions. What are your thoughts? Neither baits hunt. That is one thought. I think a lot of guys think baits are hunting, and they really aren't. They just deflect. I think the 1.5 KVD is a really good bait, and I throw it quite a bit. It seems to float a little higher, a little faster. It does get hung up a little bit more, but they're good baits. Lots of variety in the color in the 1.5 KVD. 6 cents 50X. It's a little tighter. It's more like the RC 1.5 from Lucky Craft. It deflects good. It doesn't float near as fast, but it's good. So
yeah, another one.
It's kind of personal preference. Yeah, put it back. But this is a new color. They just come out with this. So if you're on the 6 Cents website, it's available. I can see where I can catch a lot on this one right here. But springtime, I'll just be honest with you guys. I'm throwing red or some kind of yellow. And on real bright days, I'll throw a chrome. Let's see, what's Baitman's favorite pizza flavor? I'll be honest, I'm more of a sausage guy. I mean, I like sausage and bacon quite a bit.
I like...
What's your favorite, Brooks?
Sauce.
You like pizza sauce?
Yeah.
Hold on just a second.
My favorite pizza is pepperoni.
Is it? Anyways, had to answer that real quick. Wife was on my ASS. The Daiwa 7.4 frog rod with ASG guides is a sweet rod. The only problem is I don't like the ASG guides. They tend to fall out. So, any tips for making the A-rig easier to throw? Thing wears me out. Get a rod that's got some tip. A lot of guys went with like the stiffest pull cues they could get, when in reality, a deep diving crankbait rod will kind of help you. You need some tip to kind of load it up. So, I've been pretty impressed with the Norman crankbaits. Yeah, Norman's not bad. I like Norman crankbaits quite a bit. I'm not a cheese pizza guy, man. Sausage, bacon. I keep it pretty simple. I actually like the barbecue chicken pizza from Domino's. That's really good. All right. Anyway, I forgot where we were at.
I want to.
You want to show something? What do you want to show off?
This.
That's the Cloud9 Mini Mag from 6 Cents.
And if you could see, there's a golden 6.
Yeah, that's just on the package. All right, put it back. All right, I do want to let you guys know that the winter Baitman box is here. And so, what you're going to get in the Baitman box this for the winter is you'll get one Curve 55 in Gravel Crawl. Then you're going to get a Cloud 6 Medium Diver in Ozark Crawl. So a little different action in 2 crawfish color crankbaits. You're going to get some small 1/4 ounce Divine Shaky Heads, because it's going to get tough on some of these winter days. Dude, I have to go inside. And then we're going to give you some Green Pumpkin Burst 6.3 Shaky Worms. I really like this color, by the way. Just a very natural green pumpkin with some gold flake on that right there. So you can pair them up with those Divine Shaky Heads. See what else we got in the winter Baitman box here. We've got you a 1/2 ounce Divine Hybrid Jig, green pumpkin, blue crush. You can see the blue flake in there. And then I've got a Curve 55 and Ghost Table Rock Shad. Some dude just posted on Facebook on a Texas fishing website, and he caught some Jaints on this exact bait right here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make this guy famous. Let me pull this thing up here.
We could get a giveaway.
I could do a giveaway. I might do one, bud. Let me find this post here. Check this dude out. Check out this Jaint he caught on the Curve 55, and there it is. If y'all can't tell, that's that Ghost Table Rock Shad you're going to get in the Baitman box for the winter months. So proof is in the pudding. This dude, he caught some freaking hammers. So he definitely knows the right bait to throw, or either Baitman's good guessing colors, one of the two. But that's what you'll get in the Baitman box for the winter. That's going to run through January, and then we're going to have an awesome pre-spawn box, especially now that the new 6 cent plastics are available. You can use my code Baitman to get 10% off the Baitman sack or box, and then you can use Baitman Super 6 for any of the Super 6 boxes. So, and the Super 6 is a subscription-based box, so save you a little money. Try both. I think I'm going to give this Baitman box away. I'll let you guys on YouTube know. I'll put up a giveaway tomorrow. I'm due for some giveaways.
There's a pipe there.
Where? Yeah, yes, there is. All right, let's see. I'll answer a few questions here. The 75.6 is kind of the first of its kind. There are a ton of flat size that came out this year. Really can't get them out. People trying to copy them. That's just the way the fishing industry is. You're right. I mean, the fishing industry is kind of, let's see what somebody does, and if it works, we'll try to do it just like them. But just knowing the backstory with some of the Googans that used to promote 6 cents, and then they come out with their own Googan baits that are pretty much copies. That just not cool, man. the curve is a good choice in summer. A lot of guys, not every lake is like Kentucky Lake or Tennessee River. Not every place you fish is going to have the bass move out to those summer haunts. So the curve is a good summer crankbait, especially river systems. It's really good. Man, if you got flat 75s for 50% off, that's awesome. So there are millions of copies of Senkos. There's no doubt about that. I do not change the hardware out on my 6 cent stuff. Tackleworks Fishing, I will let you know right now. I'll answer your question. I'm so sorry. You've asked this like 4 times. I have not fished a 30-acre shad jig. I'm not paying $30 for a swim jig. I'm sorry. It's just like the head of a swim bait with a skirt. So I'm not going to, me personally, I'm not going to pay that. Now, is it good? It could be great, but I would just assume to throw like a 1 ounce Dirty Jigs California swim jig and throw a swim bait on the back of it. So that's my opinion. But like I said, that's just based on seeing it, not actually fishing it. I don't know if it really why you would want to spend that much money just for a swim jig. So I do fish crankbaits a lot. Pretty much there's not a time of the year I don't, except when it gets stupid tough in the summer. When they quit running current where I'm at, crankbait bite kind of dies. You can get up shallow and catch them on a square bill. But stroker craw would definitely be good in cold water. It's kind of like a hybrid, double tail grub meets creature bait. I've not handled the unicorn rods. It's funny you said that. I was on the 6 Cents website today, and I was kind of like, man, I'm gonna check these out. I may order one. I want a really good sensitive jig rod or worm rod. I got the 7.2 Sensory. It's a really good rod for the money. That's probably my favorite bottom contact rod I got right now. So, Steve, I haven't fished stick marsh in Florida, but my buddy Brent Anderson guides at Vero Lakes, Vero Trophy Bass. Look them up on Facebook, and they catch a bad day at Vero is like 80 bass. So, and they've got plenty of big fish that catch lots in the 6 to 8 pound range. All right, bub, you're gonna have to go in. All right.
There's nothing.
What?
There's nothing.
I know. I'm out of stuff. I'm gonna have to let you go in. Okay. Thank you for coming on the show. All right. I had to send Baitman Jr. inside, and because it might get a little bit real in here, and I don't want to say anything bad in front of Baitman Jr. I'm going to answer one last question. I'm going to get into a little bit of a rant. I'm decent at square bow fishing, but I start throwing cranks that go 8 to 15 foot deep and can't get a bite. Seem to stay hang up like crazy. I'm using 7.3 medium, 12 pound fluoro, and 5.3 to 1 reel. Well, you probably need a little bit more sensitive rod, Jeremy. And I'll be honest, I was that guy for a long time, and I just threw a crankbait long enough to really figure out what the difference between hitting the bottom was and then hitting brush. And I would get hung up because I would think, oh man, it knocked slack in my line. That's a fish. And it was just the bait deflecting off brush. So anytime I feel that bait really hitting bottom and maybe lose contact, I'll pause it quite a bit. And usually if it's a fish, it will just take it right from you. If it's a brush pile, you'll still kind of feel that tension. So I don't think you're doing anything wrong. It's just experience out there with it. And, I can't talk tonight. Baitman, would you compare the Sensory to the G Loomis IMX Pro? Nah, I don't think that's a good comparison because Loomis makes their own blanks. The Sensory rod, they are made overseas, whereas the Loomis, they make their own blanks. IMX Pro is a great rod, but it's also a cork handle versus EVA. The Sensory is about $150 less as well. So I'm a big Loomis fan. I like their rods. I kind of feel that's a hard comparison right there. Obviously, if you got the money, Loomis is the way to go. You're not going to find a better built rod with sensitivity like you will G Loomis, but you're going to pay for it. So now I love NRX, and if I could have unlimited supply of rods, I'd have NRX rods. Let's see. I'm going through. Kerry Selby, thanks for joining me, man. I'm ready to come over there. I'm actually going to go build a rod with the guy over here, or he's going to build it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to watch, and we're going to kind of give you a tutorial on building a custom rod. And he's a good friend of mine, and I watched him catch about a 6-pounder on a worm about that big on Gunnersville on just a random high spot we found on the depth finder. And he cast out there and caught it. We had a great time. But he makes Selby custom rods, and Kerry's a great guy, and he offered to make a rod. So I'm going to go over to his house in a couple weeks, and we're going to make a custom Baitman rod. American Legacy has all the deals, man. It's crazy. Block Tackle, it's funny you said that. I have a video of Mark Menendez. Well, he does. I got edited up. Talking about using the KVD 1.5 deep against riprap. It's a really good riprap crankbait. So, but anyway, now I got Baitman Jr. out here, and we're talking about rods anyway. I don't know how much YouTube you guys have watched lately, but man, these kids on here, and these really aren't kids, they're like guys my age, putting these videos up of why they're not using favorite rods anymore, why they've parted ways, is the silliest damn thing I have seen in a long time. They're like 25-minute videos, and to sum it up, they're not using favorite rods. We're never using favorite rods because they like favorite rods, even though they can say what they want to. These people are blind sheep to the Guggen Squad, and I'm not throwing shade at the Guggen Squad by that. You know, they've obviously created this huge genre and following of people that people want to follow them. Damn, Buckeyes up 10-0. And Clemson better get their crap together. But these people, and a lot of them are kids, and that's fine. They're like so infatuated with Guggen that they don't want to make a conscious decision based on their own results. Like, I've used favorite rods, and to be honest with you, they're not a bad rod. They felt good to me. I've caught fish on them. If I didn't have my own personal preferences that I've used, I would probably use them. You know, I pick one up and buy one. I think the Whitebird for $49.99 is a really, really good rod, and you're not going to find a whole lot at that price point better. I mean, let's be honest. It's a duck at Micro Magic, and it's $49.99. And that's one of the best selling rods of all time, is that duck at Micro Magic. I know a lot of guys don't want to admit that, but it is. But they're making these huge drawn out videos, and one of them said, well, you know, I had a promo code and I know I sold $100,000 of rods. In the same video, I said, well, I really don't know if that's a fact because they won't give me the numbers on what they sold. Okay, dude, if you sold $100,000 of rods and they're saying, well, we're not going to give you but one or two rods, there's two things wrong there. One, you didn't sell $100,000 a rod, or two, Favorite's the cheapest company I've ever seen in my life. But they've been really good to me. Like, you know, they sent me a couple rods to use, didn't ask for nothing. They didn't say make a bunch of social media posts, said tell us if you like them or not. I gave them feedback. The Favorite rep is a good friend of mine, great dude. I talk to him all the time. And at the end of the video, I do all this, and then he goes, well, I just really want to promote what the Guggens are promoting. I know that what they make is going to be quality, and I'm ready to go ahead and start promoting, and that's what I want to use. All right, so you're willing to sell your soul for something that's not even on the market yet. That's all I need to know. And so I'm looking at all this. Guy's got like 400-something videos, and he only averages like 1,500 views. So that just tells me right there that if you collaborate with the Guggens and all that, and you make shit content, people don't care. The other one is the same way. It's just like, I really want to, be part of something, and I want to promote what they're promoting. That's cool. You're sellout. So anyway, you can look them up on why you're not using favorite rods. And I shouldn't say that. The one guy I like quite a bit, he's actually a pretty nice guy, and I really wish he'd go down a different road. It has nothing to do with Guggen rods or the Guggens. So what I'm saying is, you see this all over the fishing industry. People just, they want to latch on to something, and they don't want to give it an honest, try it for yourself. Like, if I'm sitting up here, obviously I promote Six Sense. I use their baits all the time, but there's no way I would wear a shirt or even have a Baitman Box or promote them if I'd never used their stuff before. I've been using their stuff for a long freaking time. And, I've told the story. It really started out with the Quake and the Square Bill and the Crush 300 and 500 DD before that. I threw them quite a bit, and they grew and grew, and I saw myself buying more of it. And guys were like, man, you need to try this bait and that bait. And then I got the Flat 75X, and we just kind of worked into a natural relationship. And they let me talk about Strike King. I can talk about Zoom. I can do whatever I want to, and it's a great relationship there. But I wouldn't latch on to them just as, well, they're a cool company, so I'm going to promote them, and I've never used them. Now, that ain't going to happen. So anyway, yeah, MX Bass. It was like Eminem. Like, this dude had the camera set flat on the table. He had a Bass Mafia Guggen bait bag full of Guggen baits, and he's wearing a beanie and a hoodie indoors. And from right there, I was just like, I can't do this. I mean, just be honest with people who say, you know what, I'm a giant sheep fanboy, and I'm hoping I get YouTube famous by hanging out with the Guggens. That's all. That's all. When you have Guggen plaster on every piece of clothing and have their baits up as a prop, I'm not going. Exactly. Now, that guy is probably a really nice guy, and so I'm not attacking him on a personal level or anything like that. He actually seems like he's probably a cool dude to hang out with and all that. But I just, man, I just don't get it, man. That's when Scott Martin propping the Guggens put YouTube fishermen together. That's true, and I'll be honest with you. Is Scott Martin dumb? Nah, absolutely not. You know how many subscribers Scott got from taking them kids fishing and whatnot? A ton. So it bolstered him up. Propped the Guggens up even more, and they got bigger than him. So, I mean, it's smart business. Dang, 228 people watching. Muscle up. Appreciate that, all the viewers. McMullen, you have a lot of Guggen baits. Don't even get on here and say you wish. You are a Guggen, but I've seen your collection, man. So, but I'm not hating or throwing shade. I had a comment. This is actually a pretty good comment, guy. I talked about throwing shade at the Guggens and why the hate, because if it weren't for them, his son wouldn't have gotten it fishing. Well, then he says his son caught a 9.2 and a 11 something. That's freaking awesome. And there's no doubt the Guggen squads have got more kids into fishing than anybody else on YouTube. And for that, I appreciate that. I probably wouldn't be that popular on here, and I'm really not popular without those guys. So, more props to them, and they do actually put out some good stuff. I mean, I really do actually enjoy some of the John B. traveling fishing trips and stuff like that. So I'm not going to hate on them, but I guess it's kind of becoming like a cult. You guys remember 5x3 fishing? You probably don't, because they're like non-existent, because they made a cult of pro staff fishermen that would literally lay down in the highway as long as they're wearing a 5x3 jersey. And this dude just blew up his own company, went to ship orders, and said, make fun of pro staff fishermen and stuff like that, and they're gone. So I think I'll go visit James. I think I need to show up there one day. That'd be kind of funny. But thank you guys so much for smashing the like button and everything. I enjoy being on here rattling around, but that was my main rant. I'm just really the industry. I love fishing and baits, and that's why I try to talk about that stuff on this channel, but man, I don't like seeing these people like sell their souls, and it's not cool. I have not tried the SB57. I've got one. It's a prototype, and I've threw it a little bit in this pond that I got a pond by my house. I don't want to see it on a blog soon. I'm gonna go over there and try to actually catch a fish. I've been there like 15 times and not had a damn bite. And maybe I am the worst fisherman on YouTube. So I have not fished the Coosa River, but I did get to. Well, I didn't film this one. I edited a video with Swindle down there, and man, he did really good. So and that was a long time ago. I watch your show because you tell how it is and what really works, so people are wasting their money buying a brand. Yeah, so Rich, here's the deal. I think the Guggen soft plastics, they're fine. There's some, I like the Brad Lynette. I think that is actually a really good concept, and I give them a lot of credit for that. No one's really done anything like that. I mean, obviously, you can put your own rattles in a Ned rig, but you can just buy them straight like that. And the Bandito bugs are pretty much a compact creature bait and trench hog. They're different. So there's some colors I don't like, but I mean, there's colors I don't like in almost every manufacturer of soft plastic baits. And really, you only need green pumpkin. I'm telling you, almost on all these top 10 baits or whatever, 90% of the time, guys are throwing green pumpkin or black and blue. So, Jewel Peewee jigs. I've not even checked that out. I'll need to make note of that. Jacob Wheeler also said he was throwing a prototype Guggen bladed jig when he was 100% throwing a jackhammer, and I'll call him out anytime on that. So, Biospawn makes good baits. So what's really weird is Catch Company owns Biospawn, so they already had a brand in place to really promote, and they just kind of don't ever do nothing with Biospawn. They pump up the Guggen baits over and over and over. So it's kind of weird. So, Yo, Zuri hardcore drum. I think I got one. Let's make sure this is the one you're talking about, dude. You talk about a very good lipless crankbait nobody talks about. I'm surprised you brought that sucker up. I think I'm fixing to get hooked again. This bait right here, this is the Ozuri hardcore drum. This is a really good lipless crankbait right here. One of the best shad patterns out there. They're hard to find, but you can hear it. It's not super, super loud. It's kind of got a little bit of a knock with the rattle. I really like that bait. I had a couple red ones, and I lost one and broke one off in a fish, and I've got this one. I throw this one in the fall quite a bit, but they are really good. There's a little bit of, dude, I love lipless crankbaits. I've got like 2 full boxes at my dad's house. I need to get out most of the rattle traps. All right, let's go back here. What's your thoughts on the Brat? I love the Brat from Rapala, especially that big one, the new one. It's a hybrid bait. So if you don't know the BX Brat, it's a balsa bait, and then it's got a urethane or plastic shell over it. So you get all the properties of balsa, but it's a lot more durable. So, all right, who said Wheeler is a cheater? Yeah. So here you go. So here's another thing I saw on YouTube, and I really like Ben Nowak. He's a good dude. I watch his stuff. Very informative about smallmouth fishing. He doesn't get as near the views I think he should, but I like what he has to say on smallmouth. But he made a comment, and it says his opinion. Oh, damn, barking spider come up on me. Sorry about that. It is what it is. This is the Baitman. So he made a comment that Jacob Wheeler is a cheater, and I'm like, dude, you say what? And you, man, it's really hard to make a comment like that and not be able to back it up. And I'm just really shocked. And so I've known Jacob since he was like 16. We're not BFFs. I don't text him all the time. I met him through Joe Thomas, and Joe Thomas is a really good guy. And Joe told me all about Jacob. And the year he qualified for the All American, me and Joe were out filming a hunt in Eastern Kentucky, and we're talking to the deer stand. He said, "Man, I'm telling you, Jacob Wheeler's gonna win an All American." I said, "Really?" He said, "Dude, he is dialed in. Like when he gets his mind on something." He said, "You watch and see." And dude, sure enough, Jacob Wheeler won the All American. And a few months later, me and Joe were talking. He said he'll win the Forest Wood Cup. I said, and guess what he did? Wheeler's a really good fisherman. Now, personality wise, he's normal to me. So it's like me talking to anybody else. He's always been cool, normal to me. And I could see where some people would say, "Hey, Jacob Wheeler's a goober." Hey, I'm a goober too. I just freaking ripped it, freaking broke wind here on live stream. So, I mean, you can say what you want to, but I like Wheeler, but I don't think he's a cheater. And if you want to say, well, he got information and then do this or that, dude, I'm going to tell you, 95% of the pros on all tour get information. And if you don't think they are, then so what? That's why the no info rule is never pressed that much, because the guys that would turn someone in for breaking it are breaking it themselves. So unless you have solid proof someone's a cheater, that's a bold, bold accusation. And I'll be honest, my boy Matt Robertson here, that wins like everything on Kentucky Lake, uh, they there for a while it was like, he's cheating. And I'm like, dude, I've watched him catch like half the fish in one tournament. He's absolutely, I'm not gonna say what he's throwing, but he's not cheating. He's just fishing different than y'all. So what's up, Kit Stanley? Mallard Estates, I hope you are slaying some ducks. Hey, Justin Sword in here. I have heard of a pack of crawl. Justin Sword at Netbait. I think we're going to get Mr. Netbait on a Baitman Raw. He's a really good dude. Got his new company, American Tackle Works. Really excited about that. Daniel Davis says Scott Martin gets more info than any pro. Just pretend I'm the Kermit the Frog meme and drinking my tea. Yeah, it was funny, but I was just like, Ben, you're a good dude. Don't say stuff like that, because I don't want to see Wheeler come, like the guy in Happy Gilmore, like, I'll see you in the parking lot after the tournament. So I'd love to go do a little duck hunt with Mallard Estates right now, but man, I think the ducks will be coming in. We got a cold front moving in. It's been like 65 degrees here in Kentucky. They're either moving out or they're moving in. They should be killing some ducks somewhere. So I agree with that. Supreme Golf. Oh, dude, now this guy's got a very good YouTube handle, Supreme Golf, and the way he spelt it, I like that. That is, it's good stuff. I do think MLF inadvertently shook up the fishing world in a negative way. I think, for the most part, Major League Fishing is wanting to do something positive, but fortunately, with all that positive came some negative. Now, their PR people could be a little bit better at times, but people are going to hate regardless, because a lot of people feel that bass is untouchable and that it's MLF's fault the guys left. Those guys had a choice. They could have stayed at Bass if they wanted to. So I love Bass. Just did a good podcast with Lee Livesey over there. And I'm really excited about the Classic. I love FLW. I love Major League Fishing. I just want to see the baits they caught them on. That's all. White whale fishing. Baitman, need your opinion. I need a decent rod to throw small glide baits in a Cloud 25. Really want a moderate action. What do you use or would you recommend? I would look at, for the price, honestly, you can throw a Dobbins Fury 795 is a decent 10XD rod. And so it will definitely throw a Cloud 25. It's got some tip on it. It's great for small glides. You can get them for like $119. Very good. Also, I believe it Shimano SLX might make a big cranking rod, or the new Shimano Intenza is one I would look at as well. I recommend that Dobbin 7095 because really is the best big utility rod on the market for, like, the 5-6 inch bull shads where you don't have to invest a lot of money, and guys can throw, you can throw a rig on it, you can throw a big swim bait, um, you can throw stuff like a Cloud 25, a 10XD. You can even throw big Carolina rigs on it. I mean, it's a really good one. So I would love to get Mike Long on here. Maybe I can snag him here. Appreciate the donation, Supreme Golf. Man, that's a great username. Like, if I was on Xbox, I would start laughing and be like, man, that dude had it going on. The best Xbox username I've ever seen was Bub Rub's Whistle. If y'all remember the Bub Rub video. Best 5 bass will always rule. I don't think it always will. I think eventually you're going to see. Well, let me take that back. I don't think you're going to see best 5 weight in. I think eventually it's going to go best 5 weight at the boat. I think it's going to be catch, release. And let's not, Bass does the same format once a year in the fork tournament. I think conservation wise, I love to catch and release immediately. Catch, wave, release. I think all the tours would go to something similar before it's all said and done. Dudley is out there, man. The crankbait is dead. Now I'll be honest with you. I've got facts and I can back it up. The crankbait ain't dead. Now, in spring post-spawn tournaments, you better have a crankbait. Now, do I think the Ned rig kills that many fish? Heck no. I think Dudley is making videos for views there. I've never caught a fish that's choked a Ned rig, and I've caught probably about 30. So it's hard for me to kill them if they're not, swallowing it. There's a lot of guys that would say that, Rusty. I really didn't own many before they bought them, so I'm looking for a C25 rod. You may realize I already have one. Never thought of cranking with 795. Yeah, try it out. If you don't like it, I'll get you some recommendations. I love big cranking. My favorite was a Loomis 959 DD. I had a guy offer to buy it, and I sold it. But I want to try some new stuff. The old Shimano Crucial Black Crucial crankbait rod's really good too. So, is it me or has it froze up? It might have froze up. I don't know. It says my connection's good. How do you fish winter warm front? It's been 65 to 70 few days here in North Carolina. Matter what I will do on a warm front situation, I'm going to get to more reaction bites. I'm going to start really cranking. I'm going to start throwing a lipless, and I'm going to start actually running shallow where those bass are going to go stage to spawn at. They're not going to go there to spawn, but they're going to go up there and feed because all the other fish and minnows are getting active. I'm going to run some of that shallow stuff and burn a rattle trap a little bit, and maybe throw a spinnerbait and a shallow diving crankbait. And you catch it right, you can sack them up in a hurry. Especially when it gets warm like this, the old spinnerbait can get really good. So, what's up, Richard? Best baits for deep brush, summer, jig, worm, crankbait, and then I like a shaky head deep brush as well. Now, this time of year, I'm going to crank brush, and I'm going to throw a swim bait around it. Maybe not in it, but around it. Just a finesse style jig. Believe it or not, that Ned rig is pretty deadly in a brush pile too. You just got to rig it differently. Dude, White Whale Fishing says the major tournaments need to have one tournament a year without electronics. I agree. You would see a totally different leaderboard if those guys could not use a depth finder. Dude, Baitman Jr. is, man, he racked it in. But when I learned to fish ledges, I just had like an X15 Lowrance and a map card, and I'd kind of been learning before that, and it makes you appreciate these guys. They really freak out if they can't see their side scan or down scan or all that. Man, I remember I'd throw marker buoys out, and I had this little log. I had a log I kept with me, and I would write down caught fish here at these coordinates, and then I would write down line up on window of this house, line up on this rock across the lake, and then this pole at the dam. That way, if my GPS went out, I could still get relatively close. And believe it or not, triangulation is more accurate than GPS because those satellites move around. I know for a fact I've sat on a waypoint and been 20, 30 yards off because I'm like, all right, I remember fishing here, but I was lined up with this point and this tree over there and this part across from it. And once I got that lined up, I was dead on the money. So definitely, if you can, try to learn without a GPS a little bit. So, if you're trying to tick tops of grass at 6 foot subsurface, which lipless and line size would you use? I would go up in my line. I would go up to about 17 pound test. Go with some mono because fluorocarbon zinc P line, the green P line's really good rattle trap line. Really like that. Lipless, I would go at 1/2 ounce rattle trap. They don't sink quite as hard, or the 6 cents Quake floats kind of high. um, I like a rattle trap around grass. When you ask those guys in Gunnersville what the best trap is, it's a rattle trap. And I've caught somebody on Bill Lewis. But usually some 17-pound P line, you'll be able to tick the top of that grass fairly easy and get you a 7-to-1 reel. Let's see, dip finder is cool, but it's worse than the A rig to have Panoptics. Yeah, Panoptics, man, I think that's going to change some things. I think it's a cool deal, but man, it's a big advantage over guys who don't have it. It may be worse than the advantage of GPS. But at the end of the day, you still got to go out and find fish. So if you're out there using Panoptics in the main river channel in the middle of spring, it ain't going to do you no good. So there is a little bit of that. You got to find fish. So. Let's see. The worst part about MMLF is Ike screaming giant every time he gets bit. And watch the judge tell me 1 pound, 15 ounces. No offense to Ike and Ellie, but he screamed those bass were giant and bass too. MLF didn't change that. It just happens more often, catching more fish. So, green P line does have a lot of memory, but by gosh, it is great rattle trap line because you can pull a freaking truck out of a ditch with 17-pound P line. And when you're ticking that grass and you're ripping it, it's easier to break it free because it's so stiff. Or you can go up and use like 55-pound braid, but that braid will make your trap sink pretty quick. Let's see. How would you fish a lake, a hydrilla filled lake down here in Florida aside from a lipless ripping out of grass? Zoom speed worm or ultraviolet speed worm, a net bait. They call it the bee bopper. It's their swimming worm, and some kind of June bug or June bug red. Put you on like an 1/8 ounce bullet weight. Swim that worm big time. If it starts getting cold, I'm going to flip. I'm going to use like something that's easy to punch. Maybe like that stroker craw from 6 cents. That would be a good one. A pit boss, any kind of beaver style bait. When it gets cold, I'm going to flip and punch the thickest stuff. And then I'm going to swim that worm on the outside. And I may not catch a damn thing doing that, but that's how I would go with my gut. I'm a great testament. Just because you have good electronics doesn't mean you're going to catch 20-pound bags. You're right. You could give me a brand new Ranger, and I probably would struggle to catch 15 pounds tomorrow with the best electronics. You got to put in the work. Which one is likely to win a major without electronics? Steve Kennedy. He would be my bet, or Mark Menendez. Those two guys are old school, and they know how to fish offshore without electronics. They could do it. And let's be honest. Let's not underestimate Kevin Van Dam. He's absolutely amazing. Kelly Jordan's really good without a graph too. Those old school Lake Fork guys that knew how to fish offshore before GPS and all that, they're really hard to beat. I will also tell you a guy, Cody Meyer is really good offshore fisherman as well. That cheap mono is some kind of Shakespeare line you get at Walmart. Robertson loves it. I mean, he's not joking. I see him all the time. Like, dude, you ever going to upgrade? He's like, no, dude, that's the best. So, have you put a net on a finesse jig or football? Yes, I put the net on the Dirty Jigs finesse jig all the time, man. It's a really good deal. And it makes that, for some reason, you put that Ned worm on the back, it skips really, really well. Prawn is great for punching the grass. Oh, yeah. That prawn, any kind of beaver style bait, because they're really slender, man. I'm going to send my buddy Brian Anderson down there at Vero Bass. I'm going to send him a little care package of them prawns. So. Old Larry Nixon can triangulate. Absolutely. What's up, Richard Lovett from the Tar Heel State? Dang, we've been on for about an hour, 10 minutes. I wish I had some more stuff to ramble on, but I'll tell you what I did find. I did find some 6 cents baits I didn't get to show you guys. Check out this color. This is the Pro Blue Divine Swim Bait. So we'll talk some baits for a minute. This is kind of like that money shot color from Reaction Innovations, but whew, like that. Very good clear water color. I love talking to baits. Put that on the Clearwater Shad jackhammer. Oh, yeah. Bill Lowen would catch him without a graph as long as he can fish in the dirt. Lowen's a cool dude. No problem, Victor. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. So one thing I do like about these is the $4.99. You get a pack of 6 in there. What else? What other color did I find today? Oh, yeah. Here's some more color prawns. Dude, I love this color. This melon dust. It's kind of like a green, but you see that magic crawl haze on this thing right here. That Divine swim bait is really comparable to not the Kitech Fat, but more of the Easy Shiner. Very good swim on it. It's very tight. That's what I would compare it to. It's got a bigger body, kind of like a big bite suicide shad, the thicker, but the tail's a little stiffer, so it gets that nice tight action like a Kitech Easy Shiner. Really, really good one. I got some colors in the clout too that came out here. I didn't get to show. I did try to get it organized. That really helps me out. So this has been my. All right, let me answer a few questions here. How tight? I answered that. Very tight wobble on there. Let's see. I have not tried an Egg Zone Slammer on a drop shot, but evidently that's an excellent drop shot bait for smallmouth. I recently purchased some Fritz size and they look great. Can't wait to put them in the water. I haven't got to throw one, but I have heard good things. I need to order some. So let's see here. I love the Vexus, man. It's more money, but I love it. So this is the Electric Shiner Clout 5.4. So I got some shad colored of the clouts because I noticed last year a lot of the pros were wacky rigging or Nico rigging really deep water with Cincos and the Z-Man stuff and catching some big fish down there in 15, 20 foot of water, but they changed the color up to more shad style stuff. So I got that. And then this color is really nice too. This is called Mellon Flash. That baby bass color Cinco is really popular. And that's kind of what this one right here imitates. Great clear water color with some gold flake in it. I love the Clout 5.4. Is it a Senko? No, it's actually its own baiting. But I've already caught several fish on them. Y'all might have seen the video this summer up shallow with Jake. Really like it on that Nico rig. Really like that. So let's see, Captain. How many pros actually fish the lures provided by their sponsor during a tournament? I would probably say 100% of them. Do they use them every cast? No, but guys, you guys gotta understand, and the sponsors do too. Those guys are trying to make a living. Now, I do know a lot of the Strike King guys. They use pretty much all Strike King. You get sponsored by Berkeley or Strike King, or now even 6 Cents. You don't really have to go outside that box very often. But those guys are trying to make a living. They're not going to sit there and throw a Bill Lewis rattle trap all day if everybody's jacking them on a Lucky Craft, and they know that. So I'm trying to keep up with the comments on here. I have not used the Big Bite Cane Thumper, but I will show you a freaking giant caught on it. Someone just texted me, I hate Ohio State. Me too, buddy. I'm going to show y'all a legit Kentucky Lake 8-pounder that was caught on a Big Bite Cane Thumper just a few days ago. Now, it was on an Alabama rig. Check out this freaking Jaint. It's Mark Pierce Fishing. He's a good dude. 8.57 pounds. So he had cane thumpers on an A rig and caught that freaking Jainosaurus Rex. Really, that's the only reason I have Facebook. Post stuff on the Baitman page and check out Big Bass. Hey, David Sedlock, thanks for joining in, buddy. Great question, Chris. Tungsten on Nico. I do prefer tungsten on a Nico rig because it's more compact and it's easier to get into, like your Senko style worms or your trick worms and your mag trick worms. You don't have to have near as big as weight to get the same density. So for the most part, you get them back unless the fish throws the worm. But my favorite trailer for chatterbaits, I like the Zacho. As far as the ones I really used, I think that Divine Swim Bait's going to be really good as well. And I have thrown a contact, but the Hog Farmer Spunk Shad I have used, and that's a really good one. So I'm going to go with the Zacho, the Spunk Shad, and any kind of paddle tail swim bait. But I like them to be stiff, because if they're really soft like a Kitech, they just kind of wag back there. And some people like that. I want something that has more of a tight shimmy to it. So thank you, Stephen Tinker. Happy New Year to you. Wow, 313 people watching. Man, Ohio State must be beating the snot out of Clemson, unfortunately. So, thoughts on Hog Farmer smaller A rigs? Man, they're nice. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I got to do more fishing this year. More fishing. Let me ask you this: are you guys going to be upset if I do some pond fishing? Because I got on Google Maps and I found some kind of hidden lakes, ponds over on the land between the lakes. And, which if you don't know, that's the land between Kentucky and Barkley Lakes. And I may have to get me a kayak, but I want to make sure I can do more fishing stuff. I don't want to be a pond junkie, but I just want to be able to produce more content. I'm going to do some bank fishing stuff, some creek stuff, and I really want to be able to take Baitman Jr. a lot. So we're going to film it, and we'll fish the lake as well. But I love talking baits, and that's my bread and butter. But we got to get out and do some more fishing, whether it's on a pond or in a creek or on a lake. That's what we're going to try to do. I really wanted to go out to Texas with Luke and Duncan and Darian and Ben Milliken this weekend. I just couldn't make it happen. But it's time we bring some more Jaints to the channel. So, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a guy that hates on if you fish ponds. I'm not a big fan of the golf course pond hopping stuff, but I would, my roots and everybody's roots usually started from a bank. I'd love to do some bank fishing videos and give you the tips on what I know about it, because not everybody can own a boat, whether it's financially or whatnot. Some people just don't have a place to store a boat. I'm kind of like that. I don't have a good place here, but um, I'm also poor. I have to fart to get a cent every now and then. So, um, and I've had a big bass boat and I've made those payments. And you know what? For 2 years, I fished every day. And then I fished out my partner's boat. Like, it's time to go fishing. I'll just jump in my boat. It stayed parked quite a bit. So, double tail grub is good on chatterbait. Smaller, lighter A rigs. Any recommendation? Yes, I like those Picasso bait ball juniors. Those are really good. Hog Farmer makes a mini rig that's really, really good. So, dude, there's nothing wrong with fishing ponds. Fishing is fishing, and if you want to know why the Guggen guys and some of those guys have so many followers, uh, because they fish every day and it's exciting to them, and they're not worried about trying to impress a bunch of people wearing derby jerseys. They're just having fun fishing. So, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all good, man. Just go have you some fun. If you want to fish ponds all the time, and that's maybe all you can do. I mean, let's be honest. There's places in this country where there's not any good lakes, and ponds are all they got. And I'm not gonna hate on a guy for fishing pond. So, dude, those city ponds. You talk about pressure. Everybody and their brother fishes those places, and it's really hard. So, I love golf course ponds. I almost got kicked out of one several years ago because I actually brought a 5 foot pistol grip rod and put a driver cover over the reel. And when we got to this pond, I started throwing a frog, and I caught two. And this lady like raised hell at me from the hole across, and she wanted me kicked off the golf course. And I'm like, hey, I don't think this bass deserves to be talked to like that, lady. And she got really mad. So. Whew, Buckeyes. I guess Clemson ain't getting it together. So let's see. Now you told a story about where the Boom Boom swim bait originated from, that Taco Himiro Bass Pro. But have you thrown that Boom Boom swim bait? Yes, I have. Actually, the Boom Boom is a good swim bait, and I think they meant to make the XPS bait. They put their own spin on it. What I heard, and this you know, this is nothing against the guys at Optimum. They basically told the guys that were making the bait, good luck. We've tried it and you'll never be able to replicate the XPS bait, which they did. But the Boom Boom's a good swim bait. It really is. So I really like the small Boom Boom. It's a great bait. So sometimes companies, and I'll give Optimum, they didn't feel they could perfectly replicate it. They made their own deal. Turns out it's a great swim bait. I have had a few guys say on the line throughs they come apart, but I mean, no matter what people do in the bait industry, nothing's ever perfect. So I need to get me a kayak. I can't decide if I want to shell out the money for a bona fide or get something else. Paddle drive wouldn't be bad, but they're heavy. Is the only thing about paddle drives is you're heavy. And some of these places I'm gonna go kayak, I'm gonna have to walk quite a bit of ways off the road. So. In this state, pond hopping is where it's at, especially since the Asian invasion. Yeah, Shady Banks. I tell you what, man, the Clarks River, around through Murray and Blood River and all that, in the back of those places, even the back of some of the stuff at LBL and Little River. That's some of the places I want to do some like backwoods fishing in. And hey, how many bass in some of the back of these creeks have seen a glide bait? None, guarantee you. Or seen some small swim baits and some of this new stuff that I've got, and I think it's interesting. So I like DC reels personally. I don't use them. I really like my Daiwa SVs, but I'm gonna branch out, man. I'm gonna get some lures and try some other stuff. So I think what separates the good kayak fishermen from the okay ones is being able to paddle. My buddy Ron Champion, if y'all follow him or don't, he's really good with a paddle. Even though he's got a Hobie drive, he keeps a paddle with him. And I think being able to maneuver your kayak, position it for every cast, is huge. There's nothing else in this orange cup. It's pure Mountain Dew, and I am jacked up. So. I heard the Jackson Bite's really good. The 6 Sense Movement 80X is a great shallow crankbait for me here in Louisiana. Dude, that 80X is a very, very unique one. I love Saab's Juice, Dennis. I had that in a Baitman box this fall, believe it or not. Let's see if I got some more cool colors in the Clout Worm. I do. Dude, Green Pumpkin Burst looks really good in this Clout 5.4. Oh, yeah. So that's basically your Green Pumpkin Magic. It was kind of interesting to see how many pros mention Green Pumpkin Magic or Gold Color in their soft plastics. But really, really like that. That's just a really natural color. The Clout 5.4 is probably one of my favorite soft plastics that's came out. And I'm not a huge Senko guy. Did I just pull the same? No. Everybody's favorite watermelon candy. If you're having trouble picking out a color, watermelon candy is always hard to beat. What I kind of like about this is it's stiff in the middle, but on the ends it's soft, so it's going to get a nice shimmy going down there. Man, I've never been ice fishing, Jack. I'd love to try it. See, my truck's only 2-wheel drive, so I'm afraid if I go ice fishing and something happens and it's snowstorms, I'm screwed. Let's see. So I'll put those back. I'm trying to think. Oh, I tried to organize this tackle room quite a bit, but it's never perfect. It's never perfect. I need to get some more shelving and figure out how I want to do this thing perfect. So if you see these 6 Sense, I've got 3 bait bags right here from 6 Sense, and these things are pretty sweet. These are like $9. So what I did is I put all my duplicates in here so I can, this box is, Divine Shaky Worms. I can throw those in my Bass Mafia big bag when I go somewhere. And then when I run out, I can just grab what's on the peg here. So when I order this stuff, I order 2 of each, one to hang out and one to take with me. So Michael Tilley is going to go watch Yak Pack. Yeah, you go watch Yak Pack, and he's going to tell you not to use favorite rods. Well, actually, he didn't say that, but he says something about why he's not going to use them. I think Yak Pack's a good dude. I just think some guys got to really figure out their worth on YouTube. Dustin, the 80X, I'm not so sure that's a crankbait I like to throw around wood, but man, it's great on the flats. My best luck is actually fishing it really shallow around flats and stopping and going with it. And then I like the 80X wake myself, so. I hope we get to see a ribbon tail worm from 6 Sense. I'll be really excited. So, but guys, I think I'm going to jump off here. I don't know. I mean, there's obviously some people watching the stream tonight, which is awesome as always. But I'm probably going to jump off here and try to watch the rest of this college football game. 298 people watching. I really don't want to say goodbye, but I got to. So, but guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. Baitman Raw is going to be up Monday morning with Lee Livesey, so make sure you give it a listen on YouTube or follow, or you can download it on Podbean. So you can follow people on Podbean like YouTube. So um, I'm going to get back to finishing working on these top 10 bait stuff. I'm going to get Baitman Raw up, and New Year's Eve stream, be here or be square. So my favorite Berkeley hard bait, that's a good one. I like the Dredger 20.5. It's a really, really good bait. So Matt Birch, you ain't missing anything. Clemson hasn't shown up. Well, Kevin Bolton, if you ever want to do a donation, there's a little $ there by the check on the chat. You can click that, and that's how you do a donation to the stream. But don't worry about that tonight. For guys who did donate, I appreciate it, and I'm pretty excited to take Baitman to Academy. I think I'm going to do that. I'm off on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, so I think I'll slide him over to Academy and film him getting some bait. So thank you guys so much. I don't know what we'll be talking about New Year's Eve. After I jump off here, make sure you hit the thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment. What should we talk about New Year's Eve? Best baits while drinking. I don't know. But we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll just go over my favorite pre-spawn baits. We'll talk a little bit about pre-spawn fishing. Maybe pull up the map. I don't know. It's New Year's Eve. Maybe we'll do a marathon stream. We'll watch the balls drop together. So thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful evening. God bless. And thanks again for joining me. You make it every Saturday night. You guys are awesome.